We just had a big Disney Lorcana Gencon live stream with all kinds of reveals. We've got a date confirmed for Pixar, as well as a first card image from Pixar featuring Buzz and Woody. We've got the set 11 name. We've got some set 10 card reveals. But of course, what we're focusing on mainly is Fabled set number 9. And we've got a ton of information about Fabled. Thanks to the channel sponsor Card Market. Great place to buy singles online in Europe. And definitely worth taking a peek at some of the most sold cards over the next week as people get themselves ready for rotation. Very, very interesting to see the market in action. 4-cost inkable Minnie Mouse Sweetheart Princess is one of the first 2 ever iconic cards. They are significantly more rare than enchanted cards. What that is, we don't know exactly. I would imagine it's probably about 1 in 1,000. I think they're going to be insanely rare. Very, very difficult to find indeed. This card's really good though. Of course, they'll also have normal versions printed. It's an amber card, and your character's name, Mickey Mouse, gains support. And whenever this character quests, you may banish chosen exerted character with 5 strength or more. I really like the look of this Minnie Mouse. You can almost compare it to World's Greatest Criminal Mind, which is that 3-cost inkable song, which can banish a character with 5 strength or more. But it's on a body. It's not exactly the same, but we do know that World's Greatest Criminal Mind has seen some competitive play. Minnie Mouse Sweetheart Princess, I think all I need to tell you is that it can take down Maui Half Shark. What more do you need to know? Very, very cool card. And it's worth noting that the giving Mickey Mouse support has a ton of synergy with this card, because the Mickey Mouse with support could give extra strength to your opponent's characters for your Minnie Mouse to then take it out. I really like the look of the card. 2/4 quest for 2 with these abilities. I think it's a really strong card. Of course, the big question is how good are the Mickey Mice that you're going to pair her with. But I really like this card. I think it's great. I think it's the better of the 2. But the other one is also fascinating, and I'm excited to see these iconic cards in the flesh if I ever get a chance to do so. And Kawa from Podkana pointed out that if you get the shift ability with this card, it is Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. So it's a 3-cost inkable with a 2/2 stat line that quests for 1. It's evasive, and it's shift 5. Very unique card. It costs 3. Its shift cost is more than its normal cost. And the reason for that is while this character has a card under him, he gets +3 strength, +3 willpower, and +3 lore. So it's going to be an evasive 5/5, which quests for 4. So it's very, very cool. Obviously, there's a lot of Mickey Mouse in the game, and so being able to shift this is a possibility. One card I'm definitely curious to see if it gets reprinted is Morph. I feel like it will. I'd be surprised if it doesn't. As Powerline, we're going to take a look at shortly, also has a lot of Morph synergy potentially, as does this Mickey Mouse. I feel like Morph has got to be reprinted. I'd be, like I say, surprised if it's not. But yeah, really cool card. I think out of the 2, this one is maybe a little bit more niche, whereas I feel like this Minnie Mouse is like actually really potentially very competitive and meta relevant with the fact that it can deal with a Maui Half Shark. So very, very cool cards. Excited to see that art in the flesh, but both very interesting abilities. But particularly this Mini, I think, could be quite competitive. We can see the normal versions of these cards here. We don't actually know the rarity of these yet. We do know that the Minnie Mouse is super rare. For some reason, the rarity of this Mickey Mouse is not shared. I would imagine it's also a super rare for that sort of symmetry. Yeah, really, really cool cards. I like them both a lot, particularly the Minnie Mouse. Goofy Movie's got some cards coming. Powerline, we saw a enchanted version and a non-enchanted for Powerline. It's a 6-cost inkable in Ruby. It's a Floodborn, and it's a singer, the first Ruby singer, and it's Singer 9 as well. So perhaps Ravensburger opening the doorway for a Ruby and Amber song deck. It's something I've wanted to be a thing for a long time. It's never quite worked out, but Powerline is a big shift in that direction. Mash up ability once during your turn. Whenever this character sings a song, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a song card with cost 9 or less, just in case you want to play a 10-cost song. You can't, and play it for free. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So an ability somewhat similar to Ariel from set 1, the Spectacular Singer. It just costs significantly more, and the effect is only when you sing a song with Powerline. But rather than Ariel adding that card to hand, Powerline just plays it immediately. Really, really cool card. In theory, if Be Prepared's reprinted, or if you're playing in Infinity constructed format, then Powerline could sing Be Prepared or play Be Prepared after it sings something else. Really, really cool card, particularly going to be good with the Sing Together cards. In the video where they announced this, we saw one of the game developers, I believe it was, singing Beyond the Horizon with Powerline. So Ruby Steel also looking quite interesting. It's like an action-heavy build. Really cool card. I love that we've got a singer card outside of Amber now, and this is definitely going to be one of the most interesting cards in the new set to build around. Whether or not it's actually good remains to be seen. As mentioned, I think Morph has a lot of synergy with this. We know there's not that many cards in this set. We've already seen about a third of them, and at this point in time, we've not seen any other characters named Powerline that would be shift targets at all. So this card is going to need probably at least 2 shift targets, because if you're just trying to play this down on turn 6 in a Ruby Amber deck, which doesn't have much ramp, you're not going to be able to sing with it until turn 7. It's going to be quite slow. Having said that, Amber does have some character ramp, cards like Gaston potentially getting reprinted, Doc, the 3 cost. There's also Huey from the latest set. So maybe there's some synergy there, but a very, very cool card. Very powerful ability, but you're going to just have to find the right deck for him. That's for sure. I think it's a card you want to shift. If you can shift it in, you can sing immediately, right? You could sing on turn 4. That's really strong. Whereas if you play it without shifting, it's not going to be until turn 7 that you could sing with Powerline. So really dependent on the shift targets. We got 2 new songs as well, and I have to say both look lackluster. Not in terms of art. In terms of art, they're beautiful, but in terms of evaluating the cards from a competitive standpoint, they leave a lot to be desired. We have Eye to Eye, Sing Together 9, so very nice synergy there with Powerline. Each player draws 2 cards and gains 2 lore. Drawing cards in Ruby should not be underestimated. If 2 or more characters sang this song, ready them, they can't quest. Now, what's cool about Eye to Eye is what you could do in theory is if you have 2 cards singing this together, like it could even just be Powerline and another card just for the sake of it, right? Like a 1 cost. You could just chain these together and both players gain a ton of lore, gain a ton of points. It's kind of interesting. It's like what you might call like a burn card or like a story card where you're gaining lore which your opponent can't stop. Drawing cards in Ruby is powerful, but it's a very expensive card. Gonna seem like a Amber and Ruby card, right? Where you've got lots of singer cards and you can actually easily achieve this. Drawing cards in Amber Ruby, particularly if Rapunzel is not reprinted, which we seem to be leaning towards that based off some of the leaks, which I won't go into the leaks, but it does seem as though Rapunzel is not going to be a reprint. That's not confirmed, but that is what the community consensus is at this moment in time. Being able to draw cards in a Ruby deck is good, but this card is very expensive and a bit clunky because you're also drawing your opponent cards as well. Could be good with Beyond the Horizon, for example, in a Ruby Steel song deck perhaps, where you can sing the Beyond the Horizon with Powerline, make your opponent discard cards, you draw new. If you're about to discard your opponent's hand with Beyond the Horizon, it could work quite well, right? And the 2 cards that you sing with will be readied again to sing a song. So it's actually a very fascinating card. I think the more you evaluate this card, the deeper you look at some of the synergies, the more interesting it becomes. I think at face value, it looks quite bad. But in a deck which has singer cards like Powerline, particularly Amber, it might be better than meets the eye. I think it's important to recognize when evaluating these cards, the overall power level of Disney Lorcana is likely to take a significant downward shift because a lot of the best cards in the game are unlikely to be reprinted. Cards like Mr. Smee, Madam Fox, I doubt get reprinted. And also just by the fact that we're going from 8 sets that are competitively viable in Constructed to 5, there's just not going to be as many cards in the game. So some cards which initially look kind of weak might be better than meets the eye. Standout is next, and this is not a standout card, but it is a standout because it's the first time we look at the epic cards. So these are the ones that are somewhere between a legendary and an enchanted, and you get this full art effect where there's no border on this card, similar to Enchanted. Someone in the chat earlier mentioned that this is very similar to the D23 set or the D100 set, like in terms of style. I think first chapter Enchanted cards were also mentioned on the stream as being very similar in this style. It looks pretty. maybe my expectation for epic cards was slightly different, I guess, but let's wait to see it in the flesh. I think it looks really cool, and it's going to be nice to have these cards in your collection. It is different from a foil with the fact that you don't have that border. I think that's like the main difference, and possibly the text box is looking different as well. So really nice to see the addition of new rarities in Disney Lorcana. These ones are going to be significantly more obtainable than Enchanteds and certainly Iconics. But is the card any good? Well, it's a 3-cost song in Emerald, which historically we'd be immediately saying Ursula, Deceiver of All. But it seems as though that might be getting rotated out. And the ability is chosen character gets +3 strength and gains evasive until the start of your next turn. The problem I have with this card is that it doesn't replace itself. I would much rather, for 3 cost, a card which gives me no extra strength. It gives something evasive, but it replaces itself. I think a card like this, which just doesn't replace itself, is quite weak. It just doesn't quite do enough. 3 cost is a lot, right? If you compare this to other 3 cost songs in Disney Lorcana, you've got Storm, Strength, Friends. Okay, maybe some of those aren't being reprinted, and maybe this is all about having to reassess the power level of some cards. But for me, while this is a very powerful ability, it's very expensive, and I would prefer the ability to basically be a bit weaker, but it draws a card, or a bit like cost more and draw a card. I just don't like actions which don't replace themselves. You need to really have a big splash. Something like Strength of a Raging Fire comes to mind. So not too impressed by this card, but it's an interesting option nonetheless. It does 2 pretty good things: extra strength and evasive. It's interesting, but I don't think it's great. Here are the non-enchanted versions and non-iconic versions of and epic versions of those cards. Here's Powerline by Nicholas Cole. Here is Eye to Eye. And finally, Standout. So you can see the difference between Standout. It's the border. It's the border and sort of the text box being the key differences, but it is the same artwork. And compared to a foil, you've basically got 3 versions of Standout, right? You've got this, you've got the foil version, and then you've got the epic version. I think it's fair to say the epic version does look considerably cooler with that lack of border, and I imagine in person it'll also be cool. So there's a quest event happening on August 29th, or starting on August 29th, for Disney California Adventure, Disneyland, I think, in America. And Belle Accomplished Mystic is a promo card that you can get there, and it's confirmed as a reprint. It's obviously not the best quality image, but it is set 9. So Super Rare Belle from set 4 is being reprinted, which I think is cool. And there's a new logo here as this kind of promo card. It's like a promo card that you can get from these kinds of exclusive event type things. Players can earn a new Belle promo card for completing the steps of the quest in the Beasts Library at the Animation Building at Disney. I think it's at Disneyland in America. So that's really cool. And we see this new logo to show these kinds of promo cards. There was some discourse of people being a little bit upset though, like, what if you're not in America? How do you get your hands on this card? Or what if you're not in California? We did see when Disney Lorcana first released, there was a lot of convention exclusive promo cards. For example, I have in my collection a Goofy Musketeer from Gamescom 2023, and they stopped doing that. And I think a big reason for that was at these conventions people would queue up, they'd get like 10 of them and then they'd sell them, and there was very, very long queues for people that didn't actually want to play the game, but they were just scalpers. I heard stories of event staff being spoken to quite rudely when promos ran out and all that sort of stuff. So I think it makes sense that we moved away from those. This is sort of a step back towards that, which I think some people in my chat earlier shared disappointment that there would be exclusive promos that is hard for some people to get. I personally don't mind it. I think it's cool to have like these sort of rare commemorative cards, but maybe it would be an idea if this Belle Accomplished Mystic was like a promo card similar to what we see with like the Anna and these sorts of things, which are like set wide promo cards at any quest event. And hopefully we can start seeing more quest events, right? I think people's concern comes from that it seems as though this Belle card is only going to be available at this specific location. Whereas maybe it could be cool to see if it was available worldwide for a couple of months at certain things. But we'll have to see with that one. It's cool nonetheless. And it's a new reprint confirmed. We're also getting Dumbo is coming to Disney Lorcana. We got two Dumbo cards. Dumbo the Flying Elephant. This card's reminding me of the set 1 Emerald 4-cost Tinkerbell, which when you play it gives evasive to one of your cards. It's a really good card, and I think it's also when it quests. Dumbo is only when you play it, but it costs less. Like 3 costs with this ability is pretty good. There is Gazelle in Emeralds, which has a similar ability, but that's a 1/2 and isn't evasive itself. So compared to Gazelle and Dumbo, I think I prefer Dumbo, because it's not necessarily like a 1-drop that you would want to give evasive. Whereas if you play, let's say, Madam Mim Snake on turn 2, or let's just say Madam Mim Snake on turn 2, you've got like a 3/3 body on the board. Suddenly you play Dumbo down and your Madam Mim is evasive. It's pretty cool. I mean, also even just using this on like a Cursed Merfolk, right? Like your Cursed Merfolk is evasive, you quest with it, and then you can quest with it again the following turn, because it's not just evasive during your turn, which I think is what Tinkerbell does. It's actually until your next turn. So you can use this offensively or aggressively, either to take out one of your opponent's evasive cards or to get in some evasive questing in an unorthodox manner. It's a 2/2 evasive, which isn't spectacular. It does only quest for 1, but in a bounce deck, for example, maybe you could like bounce this back to your hand, replay it, get some value out of that, or just ink it. I think Dumbo's pretty good. I honestly quite like this card. It's certainly not setting the world alight in terms of its power level, but I think it's pretty good. And in sealed, in draft, it's definitely strong. We've got Timothy Q. Mouse, the flight instructor. It's a 1/4, quest for 1. And when you have a character with evasive in play, this gets +1 lore. Stick with me, kid, and we'll fly all the way to the top. I have to say, I quite like this card. It's similar to Anna, I think Braveheart or something. Like the Anna in Sapphire, that's a 1/4 and gains a lore when you have a hero in play. That card has seen a little bit of competitive play. It's just that usually that stat line isn't fantastic for Sapphire decks, which tend to ramp rather than be aggressive. But this card's pretty good. I think it's a strong card. Having an evasive character in play is quite easy, particularly if you're playing Emerald. Obviously, the synergy here with Dumbo, you can play Dumbo on 3, turn this card evasive, quest for 2, and it's a 1/4 evasive for a turn. Quest again. This card seems very strong. I honestly like it quite a bit. It's, again, not setting the world alight, but it's a good card. There's no doubt about it. And this Dumbo is also going to be the promo card for the next set, similar to, what even was it from the latest set? We had an Anna recently, and I forgot what the one is from this set. I've got about 100 of them. I should know, but I've forgotten. We also got some stuff on Whispers in the Well, which is set 10. So here's a Judy Hops. Whispers in the Well seems to focus on like a new kind of glimmer, which are like ethereal kind of whispers. And Judy Hops is ripping up a lore book here in an art. And we actually do see what these cards do. We got 3 cards from this set, and they're all focusing around Zootopia. And Zootopia 2 is coming out in cinemas around that time. So that's really great to see that now, as Disney Lorcana is maturing a little bit as a trading card game, that there's closer ties seemingly linked with what's happening with Disney films. That's awesome. And that can only be a good thing. We saw the Moana have a promo card for the Moana 2 release. That's kind of insane. Was it Moana 2? I guess it must have been. But yeah, really, really cool. But Judy Hops is not very good, I think, personally. 4 cost, and when you play this character and whenever she quests, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a detective character card and put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom. What I like about Judy Hops is that it does something when you play it and when you quest. That's good. Unfortunately, how many detective cards are you going to want to put in a deck? If you actually have a deck which is like 40 detective cards, this actually might be all right. Even then, it's not going to set the world alight. The card to compare this to is the Blue Steel Jasmine from Reign of Jafar. That's like a 2/5 that quests for 1 and has a similar effect, but it's only when questing. And that card's not very good, but it was very good for me in sealed. But the thing is that Jasmine is synergizing with the ally tag. The ally tag is just so much easier to achieve than detective. And that card is not competitively viable in constructed. And Judy Hops, therefore, I struggle to see it being. They are quite different. They've got different stats. Judy Hops does it when you play and when you quest, which is good. My concern is how many detective cards are you actually going to have? Now, maybe the whole set is filled with detective cards because it does seem to be a big theme for the set. You're going to need a lot of detective cards to convince me. But it does seem as though Zootopia might have a chance with this kind of detective synergy. Sapphire Steel would be the way to go with that one. And maybe even the Jasmine card could fit into that deck somehow if they're all allies as well. Nick Wilde, I have to say I prefer. Still not blown away by Nick with a 5/4 stat line. He is uninkable. Shift 3, quest for 2. During your turn, whenever one of your detective characters banishes another character in a challenge, draw a card. And this is where Judy Hops starts to become a bit better. If there is actually enough detective cards to really push this deck in a constructed format, they are actually decent. We just haven't seen many theme decks in Disney Lorcana. We haven't seen any theme decks based on tags. We've seen some theme decks in general do quite well. Like you could say that Diablo, for example, is a bit of a theme deck, but we haven't seen it really based off tags, right? Not like a detective tag or an ally tag or a princess deck. It just hasn't really happened. But maybe these decks are the start of something different. I kind of doubt it, but neither are terrible. They just need a lot of support in order to be good. Then we've got putting it all together. Chosen opposing character can't challenge during the next turn. Draw a card. Very similar to Heffalumps and Woozles, which is a song and stops characters questing. This is an action and it stops them challenging. I don't know about this one. If you've got action synergy, I think it could help. And there is some Emerald Steel cards, particularly Pirates, which have synergy with action cards which specifically aren't songs. One problem those sorts of theme decks have is that a lot of the actions which aren't songs don't draw cards. So putting it all together could help in a deck like that. Okay, so the ghostly glimmers were first seen here, and the trail of torn lawbook pages started in this part of the Illuminary Judy Hops. So big detective theme happening for Whispers in the Well. We also saw some new products for Whispers in the Well with Mufasa and Megara being one starter deck. I think it's Mufasa, maybe it's Simba. I believe as well, like some people have been able to zoom in on these and like work out what the cards actually do. It looks like, I think it might be Simba quests for 3. And it does also seem as though like you get glimmer foils rather than just normal foils. They seem to be, I think these might be like the Whisper cards, right? Like there's like a different effect for them. I think that's basically what's going on. And there's something very different about these cards. They're not glimmer foils because you can still see the black border of these. Maybe I'll do a YouTube short where we discuss those in further detail. We also see 3 of the packs, or the 3 packs. I have to be honest, I don't know who this is. I think it's from Gargoyles, Daisy Duck, and Gaston as well. Very, very pretty packs. We see in the other starter deck, it's Judy Hops and my boy Robin Hood. And again, it does seem as though like Robin Hood is like this Whisper card, I think is most likely Whispers. It's like similar font of Whispers to the pattern that's on this card. And we'll try and dive deeper into those images. We also got set 11 Winter Spell. And very, very interestingly, we got told that this set is going to be particularly good for sealed and draft formats. I hypothesized in my recent Fabled video where they announced there's only 33 reprints that maybe Fabled could be really good for sealed and draft. That sort of seems to have been shut down a little bit just based off the fact that they specifically mentioned that this set is going to be really good for sealed and draft, which is really exciting. They did sort of hint towards it in a bit of a mysterious manner, like they've done something really out of the box, like really different with it. But that might have just been me misunderstanding it, misinterpreting it. It might just be a normal set that's really good for sealed. I think, though, that they have maybe some plans for sealed and draft, which are going to maybe be unique to this set. Like maybe how we've seen, how Pack Crush, because they also said it'll be good for Pack Crush, uses like the QR codes at the back, like the marketing card. Maybe the marketing card in this set is going to do something a little bit different and it might relate to like a draft or something like this. I don't know, but I'm excited for that. I really would love to see draft in particular in Disney Lorcana become a bit more popular. I have to say, having played some Star Wars Unlimited recently, Star Wars Unlimited draft is a lot of fun and the whole packs are designed to do that. A problem that Disney Lorcana has for sealed formats is that the ink restriction, you just basically can get to pick anything. In a game like Magic the Gathering or Star Wars Unlimited Draft, you have to like pick your specific color still, and that kind of leads to a bit more strategy, whereas like a draft in Lorcana is just kind of pick the best things. I really like draft. Super Sealed was also really fun for Worlds, and I'm glad to see that Ravensburger are planning on supporting these formats more, because from a content creator point of view, I can tell you there's not that much interest in these formats in terms of viewership. And I would love to see that change. It would be really cool to have more people excited to draft in Disney Lorcana. So it's coming out first quarter after Christmas, which is a little bit weird, but I guess that's just the way that the cookie crumbles with the way that their sets release. It's going to be January to March, that kind of ballpark. Anyway, we've got Pixar. There are no cards yet, but just because I cannot see it doesn't mean I can't believe it. There are no cards yet, but just because I cannot see it, it doesn't mean I can't believe it. Yeah. I don't know. Toy Story coming to Disney Lorcana. Heck yeah, that's so cool. I was anticipating this would be set 13, basically in 1 year, after the big bad, right? Like we defeat the big bad, there's a new rotation, Pixar comes in, but that is not the case. No, the Pixar cards are actually going to be coming in with the next big bad, which is really, really interesting. So when like we have the next Jafar or Ursula, whatever that's going to be, Hades is perhaps a front runner. Maybe it could even be a Pixar bad guy, because Pixar is going to be in the game for that next big bad set. At least that's how it appears, because it's going to be in the second quarter of 2026. The Great Luminaries in the background here, Buzz and Woody are pointing towards it. That is so exciting, isn't it? Big shout out to the people at Pixar Studios. I got to visit last year. They have Lorcana locals there every week, and they're really excited for Pixar cards to be in Lorcana, and so am I. Disney puzzles. We've got Amber, Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire Disney puzzles confirmed, and the Amethyst and Steel ones we haven't seen yet because they're going to be revealed by Disney themselves. Each of these puzzles does come with a Glimmer Foil Mickey Mouse promo card, and I do believe that would suggest this Mickey Mouse is being reprinted. And honestly, this Mickey Mouse is pretty damn good with the iconic mini we were looking at earlier, because it becomes, you play it on 3, it's a 3/3 that quests for 2, but if you play the mini on 4, it's a 3/3 that quests for 2 with support, which is really good. And I always quite liked this card. I always felt this card was actually pretty damn good. I played it in set 1. Yeah, it's one of the better vanilla cards in the game, so that's definitely one to keep an eye on. It does, I don't know if that's set 9. I think so. Fabled promos. Alice the Accidental Adrift. Again, when we're evaluating a lot of these cards, it's important to remember that the power level of this of the game is going to decrease from what we're used to. The first 4 sets are being rotated out. There's a lot of very, very busted cards in set 2, I think in particular, maybe even set 3. Brawl might be getting removed from the game. We might not be having Brawl reprinted, for example. Just, it's important to remember the power level is definitely going down with this set overall. So when we're evaluating cards, we have to bear that in mind. Like if I was looking at this card for a set 8, in set 8, I'd be like, yeah, it's not very good. No one's going to play this. But for set 9, when we only have 5 sets in the game, it's possible it's good enough. In particular, what's interesting, again, Kawa from Podkana mentioned in my chat earlier, if Porpsicle's reprinted or not might have a bigger impact on this one, because Alice is when you play this character, you may put chosen item into its player's inkwell face down and exerted. And of course, the best use case of Alice is going to be using it on your own item. You play an item on 1, you ramp on 2, you play Alice on 3, and suddenly you've got like a 4-cost Donald Duck, which is ramping you, right? This card's, I think it's not very good, but it's interesting, and it really does just depend on seeing what 1-cost items are there, and are those items able to recycle themselves, right? You want like a cantrip Porpsicle type card that you can play on turn 1 as an item, and it draws you a card. Something like Fortisphere, Porpsicle. I'd be surprised if Porpsicle gets reprinted. I think it's a very busted card, but maybe Porpsicle 2.0. Like maybe there's something in Zootopia 2 which could be reprinted and have a similar but slightly less OP ability. Popsicle is one of the best cards in the game. So I would be a little bit surprised to see it reprinted, but I think it's similar to Prince John in my mind, where like these cards, Popsicle and Prince John, were both too strong, but I wouldn't mind seeing like a 2.0 version where they're like balanced a little bit more fairly and do similar things. That would be my take. A lot of people would disagree with that, but just sharing my thoughts. Whenever there's character quest, chosen opposing character gets -2 strength. So there's synergy there with Under the Sea. Maybe there's like some shift Alice cards that you could play on this if there's like some big Alice cards. It's interesting. You can also use it to remove your opponent's items, which could be good against the Lucky Dime, although that might not be getting reprinted either. I don't love Alice personally. It's a really cool artwork, and it will be a promo card, though. It's a buy a box promo. And then we've got the Queen. This one did leak earlier in the week. It's a 3-cost inkable 2/4 that quests for 1 with support. Pretty good already. At the start of your turn, you may choose and discard a princess or queen character card to return a character card from your discard to your hand. So you get rid of 1 card to get another back in your hand at the start of your turn. It's not bad. It's not spectacular. There is like some queen theme decks, which maybe this could help you out on, but overall not a card I expect to be particularly strong, would be my gut feeling. I've been wrong before. Organized play promos. Now, these ones are really awesome. Strength of Raging Fire is in set 9, and this is a promo you can get for your league. Sisu Daring Visitor is also, which this one I'm a little bit surprised by, because it doesn't look like the big legendary Sisu's being reprinted. And Curse Merfolk also. Really, really nice to see Strength and Curse Merfolk getting reprinted. I think they are like core cards which support specific decks. I'd be a little bit surprised to see both Strength and Storm being reprinted, but we'll have to wait and see. I do think that Cinderella Ballroom Sensation is going to be reprinted. That's just a prediction. I could be well off the mark on that one, but I would predict that Cinderella probably gets reprinted in a world where the 3-cost Belle exists in Sapphire that can sing songs. I think it's a bit unfair on Amber not to have access to Cindy. The Sisu I'm a bit surprised by, but we'll have to see if the big legendary Sisu is not getting reprinted. Maybe they just print another Sisu Floodborn again, which is like a 2.0 version of Sisu, like a little bit similar but a little bit more balanced. Perhaps like in a digital card game, which is where my background's in, what you could do is you could just change the numbers on some of those cards, right, very, very quickly and very easily in a patch. Obviously in a physical card game you can't do that, but rotation does maybe enable them to sort of have a similar card that's maybe just a little bit more balanced. Oh my goodness, I want it. The Fabled Set Championship playmat has to be the best one to date so far. It's better than the Stitch in my opinion. The Stitch is good. The Stitch and this are definitely the front 2 contenders. I love the Ursula one as well, but that one is nice. A lot of people are going to be gunning for that, as is the promo. But what's really cool as well is the participation promo. You're getting a legendary alternative artwork just for showing up to your set champs. That is awesome. Yes, please, Ravensburger. More of this. I'm sure that everyone watching can agree. This is what we want for set championships. No more Mirabelles, please. But yeah, big shout out to Lorcana Player for compiling all of this. Really, really nicely done. It was a really, really nice stream by Ravensburger. There was some technical issues to start it off, but it was very, very well done. A lot of time and effort went into it. So a big congratulations to everyone over there on the team for a great reveal and getting through the technical issues. I'm really excited for Fabled. There will be a Fabled release day stream that I'm going to be doing from Malmo. And then there's going to be some really exciting Fabled events in the first week of it. So look out for that. I've also made a new Facebook page. I've got Instagram and TikTok if you guys want to see my short form stuff. I have just rebranded to Curly Cards. We might rebrand to Curly Joe Cards. Still deciding. But lots of cool Lorcana content coming for you. We will be covering all the reveals as they come through starting tomorrow. And I will also be doing lots of Fabled stuff when it's around. So I'm looking forward to it. And lots of cool changes coming soon to the channel because I'm moving out. I'm getting my own apartment, moving to Germany in about a month and a half. So really exciting times for me. And I'm excited to bring you guys better content and more content than ever. And I appreciate all of your support in helping me get to where I am. So thanks. Thanks again to Card Market for sponsoring the stream, the video, whatever this is, the video. And see you guys on the next Disney Lorcana video.